Oh, I'm so sorry. Happy belated International Women's Day as well. It was over the weekend, so I just wanted to say that on record.
Quick question, Mr. Manager, in reference to, well, Mr. Attorney, can I ask a question in reference to the two letters that was giving? Since it's, I just want to ask, what is that process based on where are we now? Is it administrative leave in reference to the individual in the letter?
In aspect to the letter and the situation, Mr. Derek Corker's been placed on administrative leave, and we also, the day after the council meeting, I submitted all the documents and everything from North Miami Police to the Miami-Dade Ethics Committee. I did speak with the director, Mr. Rozo, I believe it is. Spoke with him, and he told me it'll probably, be somewhere between a month, maybe a month and a half before they would get back with us with the answer in the investigation. But we helped. It will be sped up because we did give them all of the documentation we already had accumulated.
Okay. I had another question, but that was in reference to something else, and I totally forgot. Thank you all, and happy Women's Day, which was March 8th, to all the
March
international, yes, which was the 10th, so 2 days ago. Back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. And Madam Clerk, your report.
So continuing the theme of Women's History Month, I think that we have to remember that we are not only honoring the women that are in our lives today or who have been in our lives, but we are honoring what women have done historically. And I think it's a reminder for women to also be reminded about living to their fullest potential. But we also need to be reminded of the fact that we continue the fight for equity. And with that being said, I think that it's extremely important not only to honor the women, but to honor the men who are constantly at the forefront of those fights with us. We are at the forefront of fights for domestic violence.
You need to order me.
Against sexual violence, and against a series of other things. And so I highly encourage us to continue that fight and ensuring that equity is provided to women all over, regardless of their stature and their status in life. In addition, I'm really sad that I can't talk about passports and taking trips, because that's what, just gonna say that Barbados, Namibia, Cote d'Ivoire, or Ivory Coast and Kenya does not have Corona, but can't get on planes. And so I'll give you reasons to get a US passport even if you're not traveling. So it serves as a legal ID or a valid ID. You can use it for employment verification, proof of citizenship. And since we're all getting masters in public health with this whole Corona scare, we can use it to enroll in school again. I want to remind everybody that we have the presidential preference primaries taking place right now. Early voting has already begun in the library. This week we're open until 7, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Over the weekend it'll be from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And election day will be March 17th, 7 to 7 in your precinct. So early voting has already started at the library, and you'll be able to vote in your precincts on March 17th. But if you remember anything about anything I've said today, respect the women, wash your hands, and vote. And that's it. My report is over.
Your city attorney report.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councilman.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Manager, in reference to, because I see them in the audience, did we finalize that the Little League contract or the whatever?
I know you're referring to the contract with the Jaguars,
Yeah, the
football.
Jaguars.
We did present them with a contract to move forward. I believe they have a board meeting on March 12th, and they're going to review it with the board and then get back with me on the contract. But everything's been submitted.
Thank you.
What has been changed from the
Um,
previous contract to that new one?
Technically, nothing. One of the major changes is the equipment and the uniforms that we did help them buy. The past contract said that the uniforms and equipment belonged to the city. I think it was something that was in one of the previous contracts, so that was removed out because I know that was grant funded stuff. We considered that as grants given to them, so that language was removed. That's it. I did. That's all that was removed. There were some other things that.
Now they're gonna start receiving that $8,000 that was canceled for
Yes.
about 4 years.
Yes, sir.
Because last year I had to take money from my discretionary to pay for
sir.
uniforms
You too?
for the
I
cheerleading.
have none.
No, I did football.
Can we, well, one of the suggestions, I think, someone up here made it, in the interim, I don't know when they will sign the contract, can we move their, and I don't know if that's, if that's an insert or something that could go in the contract, that they go under either the police department or some other department for this, is that something that could be done?
The manager of the you're referring to the manager of the contract, of the contract with the Optimus program?
Yeah, whoever they have to deal
Well, the
with.
contract the items listed in the contract, were in the wrong department anyway. That should be going under our contract compliance, department.
Okay.
So that it will be in the contract compliance department, work with the attorney's office on drafting the new contract. They will be the ones reviewing it moving forward.
No, but who would they be reporting if they need the uniform? And the reason that I mentioned the police department is because, in Chief, I'm not trying to get you more work, is because I know they have a PAL program, that does youth stuff or related stuff in the, whatever the case is. That was my only reason, It is a park activity, but I wouldn't suggest that it go back to that department.
If there's a problem, we shut down the department. But that's
No, you
we
can't
need
shut
to
down.
bring the right people to manage the department. That's Park and Rec. We got to make sure Park and Rec and the right department that's why we hire managers to fix problems. If there's a problem at Park Department, you fix the problem and then making sure the organization is under Park and Recreation Department. You have to fire people, you fire people and put the right people in place. That's what we got to do. We cannot have the kids suffer for people on top of that who's having some big checks and things like that. That's what I think. Mr. City Manager, your report.
Yes, I know I sent out email correspondence to everyone, and also talked to everyone about the sale of the closing of the Solomia property. The money is in escrow. The word that we did receive is that it went through today, so we should recognize it in the morning. Also, the close of the local preference office, that money we have received. And so those two are done. I'm anticipating
It's two things. How much money did you receive for Solomia?
for Solomia, we had received approximately $10.7 million.
10.7, that represents the sale of the 20 acres and the 2.7 rent participation.
Yes, sir. And
How much did you receive for
the local preference,
for housing?
For housing, 666,000.
Okay, and that money got to go toward affordable housing only. That's what we stated clearly in the contract, and I think it's either we use that money to build, maybe if that's a desire of the council, and if we can get land acquisition and to build affordable housing, that's where we're gonna go. As a matter of fact, there is a resident who already called me about a piece of land available for sale in the city. If we can do that, so we can build affordable housing instead of take the money and spend it on things that we're not gonna see. It's better to buy assets. So I'm not talking about the $10.7 million. That's what I'm talking. I'm talking about the 600,000 for affordable housing. The 10.7. That's not what I'm talking about. I see Councilwoman Estime Evans is looking at me. It seems like I'm telling you what to do with the money. That's not what I'm doing. It's only, as a matter of fact, the 10.7 is not even enough to balance and bring us on the green side of the financial situation. That's been, but the $660,000 is for to buy assets so we can, in case when we need it, because the way we see things and Privatel kind of, we are more worried about a financial crisis than coronavirus, because every day we have kids dying for basic need. That's when we don't have to worry. We got to worry about those kids more than just the coronavirus. The coronavirus is gonna come and gonna go. Another one gonna come and gonna go. Another one gonna come and gonna go. That's a part of life. We have to deal with it, but we need to take in care of those people in need, and especially Mr. Manager. And if you can revisit the senior program to making sure they have everything, and so we can do that additional cleaning every minute, every hour, and so we don't want any issue with that, and those aftercare program in the city, and we need to take in care, and coronavirus is going to take in care of himself.
Also, Mayor, if I may, I know I'm anticipating us coming back to the board at the next meeting in regards to the Oaks. That's
The census, don't.
oh, I'll talk
Yeah,
about
we
that
do.
as well.
Yeah.
I'm awaiting my second appraisal for the Oaks, and I should have that by the end of this week, and I will have conversations with you all on how we move forward with that. Census 2020 ballots.
But when you have both appraisal, I think you need to turn it to the advisors, that financial advisor, making sure everything is okay. So when we're gonna come, we can have a complete presentation. So, and you can tell the resident how did you get to that number, and and I think that would be good when you come with it, and after that we will decide it what we're gonna do with the money. As a matter of fact, that money should go to a separate account. And as far I heard something, and okay, I'll talk about the next. That's fine.
Also, Census 2020, just to inform everybody that the ballots will start, not the ballots, but your questionnaire postcard, with your number to log in on the computer, should start being delivered on Thursday, I believe it is, on March 12th. So keep an eye out for your census postcard in the mail. If you don't have computer access, we will have computers available. We have 2 computers in the lobby in the customer service center. We have computers in all of the community centers and in the library that are specific for filling out the census. We have all of the information. We have sample questionnaires on our website. We do have a census link on our website that you can get all of the census information and get yourself prepared, or if you have questions filling it out. And I believe we do have a hotline number for the census on our website. I'm not sure about that one.
But
In
for
reference-
whoever can do it on their own, when they receive it, they can fill it and send it. They don't have to wait for April 1st. That's
Exactly.
the first thing.
And Mr. Manager, you haven't mentioned, I did meet with, I guess, Ms. Somner and Francisco in reference to our census strategy. And I think your office, or they supposed to let us know if we're gonna need additional funding that us here as a council could, because I think they switched the way they count this year. It's gonna be harder. It's not in, it's only in some languages, very limited, and they could only call or go online to fill it out. So that means that North Miami, that's 59,000, we may not even be an entitlement city if we don't take it seriously. So we gotta look at that very easily. Yeah, that's it. I just learned that today when I was doing the infomercial, whatever that we were doing. They could only either call or they could go online. That's it. So if you don't,
What do you mean?
Make sure you specify. If you
The
so
response.
for Haitian Creole,
no.
it's good
They have it in Spanish
and
and
in English.
in English, And then for you to respond, in order for you to actually respond once you get that paper, either you have to call a number, which they have, I think, 13 different languages, or which half of the residents or anywhere in Miami-Dade, or in the state of Florida, not calling, or you have to go online, which is a challenge for our seniors, so we're gonna rely on the homeowners and everyone else. How do we get that information out to make sure, because first of all, I don't even believe they're gonna be sending out the numbers, whatever that code is. That's just my feeling. So we just have to be vigilant. We have to be careful. I know some people kind of look like, what do you mean the census is not? No, their goal is not for us to be counted. It's we need to make sure that we count everybody and we let the community know that it's important. So we got to do what we got to do next month to get the word out, to let these folks know
Next
it's
one, you gotta
important.
start on the
Well,
12th.
I'm saying April 1st,
Because
whenever
if you don't do that, people are gonna take the card and they're gonna throw it in the garbage.
for those who do receive the cards. So
They said between the 12 and the 20.
Everybody?
They're gonna, that's what they said.
okay, well,
That's what they said.
I'll be the first one if I get a card. I'll let y'all know.
No, they sent us a map 2 months ago, and I signed it and I sent it back about the boundary of the city and people and where they're gonna be receiving it. They said between the 12 and the 20.
Because I know if they don't receive
90%.
it, yeah, they could
90
call
Yeah,
to get the number, and then to respond to it, those steps. So we got to be
Yeah.
mindful. Okay.
Move to
Okay.
adjourn.
So moved.
second.
Second.
All in favor?
That's
All-
too late. I
all
think we all got
opposed?
it. Go on, go.